please hit that subscribe button. Hey everybody, better suited to win the Stanley Cup this season. If you are new to the channel, Washington Capitals, the Boston Bruins.
Locked on and he scored! And we're live.
Hey everybody. So the first round of the 2020 NHL playoffs has come to an end. No series went to 7 games. Everything finished in 5 or 6. And now we are starting the second round. And with the second round brings a whole new set of series and a whole new set of series to preview. We're going to be starting today with the Dallas versus Colorado series, which is the first one that will play in the second round. They're playing tonight. I'm recording, or this is obviously taking, these videos will come out on Saturday. So that's going to be a really fun series, and we're going to take a look at it here and do an in-depth preview. Before I start, I just ask that you please hit that subscribe button if you're new. Give this video a thumbs up if you haven't yet, as those likes really go a long way in helping the channel. But let's get into it here, starting with the Dallas Stars. So they went 37, 24, and 8 in the regular season, 82 points. They are now the 3 seed in the Western Conference, as every round gets reseeded here. And they're coming off a 6-game series victory over the Calgary Flames, knocking out the Flames. Even after Calgary got off to a good start in that series, Dallas showed their resilience. They fought back, and they ended up, once Matthew Tkachuk went down for Calgary, that completely changed that series, and it was all Dallas from there on out, including a massive come-from-behind win in Game 6, where they were down 3-0 early and came back scoring 7 unanswered goals and eliminating the Flames in a pretty brutal performance there for Calgary, but a great show of resiliency for the Dallas Stars. So Dallas, their offense, they're not a high-scoring team. They've scored 2.78 goals per game in the playoffs so far. They're definitely a defense-first team. They don't score a ton, although they did score 7 in their last game. But overall, they're still below 3 goals a game, but they are slightly better offensively, or have been in the playoffs, than they were in the regular season. Defensively, they are giving up exactly 3 goals against per game in the playoffs. That's a little higher than what we're used to with Dallas in their defense-first team, but really hasn't hurt them in any way. They are finding ways to win. On the power play, they've been 20% on the power play in the playoffs so far. That's pretty solid for them. They're not a huge power play team, and obviously not a high-scoring team in general, but they've been pretty solid on the power play these playoffs. And penalty kill has been a little bit of an issue. 76.7% on the penalty kill. That has not been great, especially for a defensive-minded team like the Stars. They definitely want to see that PK percentage over 80% and probably closer to 85%. So that's been a little bit of a problem, but if they can stay out of the penalty box, they should be in good shape here against Colorado and able to play their game and at least play the way that they want to. So far in these playoffs, Denis Gurianov and Joe Pavelski are tied for the team leading goals with 6. Gurianov had a 4-goal game the other night. Joe Pavelski had a hat trick earlier in these playoffs. Those are 2 very important goal scorers for the Stars, who, like I've said, for much of this year struggled offensively and struggled to score goals. They need guys to really step up, and so far Gurianov and Pavelski have been doing that. Jamie Benn's chipped in, which is very important for them. And Dallas's offense has gotten it going a little bit in these playoffs. As far as points go, Miro Heiskanen leads the team in points in the playoffs with 12 so far. Obviously, he is a dynamic defenseman there on the back end, one of the best and most underrated young defensemen in the league. So much talk about Makar and Hughes and Dahlin and Werenski and McAvoy, and there's all these young defensemen in the league. Someone who never gets talked about, who doesn't get talked about nearly enough, is Miro Heiskanen of the Dallas Stars. He is one of the best young D-men in the NHL right now. And as far as penalty minutes, their leader in the playoffs has been Alexander Radulov, who has 10 penalty minutes. Dallas is not a team that racks up a ton of PIMs, so not surprising there to have a pretty low number as your penalty minute leader. And Radulov is first on the team, at least to this point in the postseason. Switching over now to Colorado. Colorado is the 2 seed in the Western Conference. They have gone 42 They went 42-20-8 for 92 points in the regular season. They're coming off a 5-game series victory over the Arizona Coyotes, including back-to-back 7-1 wins in Games 4 and Game 5, just absolutely demolishing Arizona. Colorado is scoring 3.88 goals for per game in these playoffs. Absolutely unbelievable. Almost 4 goals a game. Their offense has been tearing it up, and it's not just Nathan MacKinnon. Nazem Kadri is having a massive postseason as well, and they've really got 3 lines of offense going for Colorado. Their defense has also been absolutely outstanding. Now, some of that is definitely comes from playing against Arizona, who is not a high-scoring team, and they handled pretty easily. But they are only giving up 1.63 goals against per game in the playoffs this year. That is incredibly low, giving up less than 2 goals a game. You don't see numbers like that very often, and I think over the course of a full playoff, their numbers would not stay that low. But so far, it's just been unbelievably good at both ends of the ice for the Colorado Avalanche. Their power play has been ridiculous, and this was a team that in the regular season had a middle-of-the-pack power play. They were under 20% on the power play in the regular season. So far in the playoffs, 30.6% on the power play in the playoffs this year. Absolutely unbelievable. Massive numbers. Scoring not at will, but pretty damn close. Just huge weapon for this team at this point. And their penalty kill, 88% on the penalty kill as well. Special teams have been dominant for the Colorado Avalanche in these playoffs, and they're definitely using that to their advantage, and that's one of the big reasons they've been winning so many games. Their leading goal scorer in the postseason is Nazem Kadri. It's not Nathan MacKinnon. It's not Mikko Rantanen. It's not Gabe Landeskog. It's not Cale Makar. Nazem Kadri leads the team with 6 goals so far in the playoffs. He is having a huge postseason. I guarantee you Toronto really wishes he played like that when he was with them. Just incredibly good postseason so far for Kadri, who really seems to be relishing the moment and taking full advantage of it. Leader in points is, their number 1 superstar player, Nathan MacKinnon. 13 points so far in the playoffs for MacKinnon. He leads the NHL in postseason points so far. I believe he still does, unless that changed in the last couple days. But 13 points for MacKinnon already, just absolutely unbelievable. He's been off the charts for them. He also leads the team in penalty minutes, and that's a little bit surprising. Nathan MacKinnon is not usually a big penalty minutes guy, but he has 10 penalty minutes in the playoffs already, including an absolute ragdolling of Christian Fischer in the Arizona series. MacKinnon has played with an edge and played with some physicality and shown that he and the Avalanche are not going to be pushed around, and you can play physical and they'll play physical right back. And that's one of, I think, the biggest assets about this Colorado team is that they have this incredible speed and skill, but they're also tough and they can play a grinding physical style of hockey, and it doesn't really slow them down and it doesn't really affect them. So it's really the best of both worlds with Colorado, and that's what makes them such a dangerous team in the postseason. But, this is going to be a really fun series, guys. As far as prediction goes, I have to go with the Avalanche in this one. Colorado, to me, looks like the best team in the NHL right now. The way they've just been manhandling opponents. I mean, Vegas definitely has a case for that as well. I think Vegas and Colorado have really stood out as far as how well they're playing, particularly of all the Western Conference teams. But Colorado just looks absolutely, I don't want to say unbeatable because they have lost games and Arizona was able to take one, but as far as the 7-game series goes, it's going to be very tough to win 4 out of 7 games against the Avalanche. I think Colorado takes this series in 6 games. Dallas is definitely good enough to give them a fight. Dallas has been much better in these playoffs than I thought they were going to be. I had them losing to Calgary. Calgary obviously fell apart once Matthew Tkachuk went down. And Dallas has impressed me. Their offense has been better. They've started to score a little bit, and that really makes Dallas a much more dangerous team than what I thought they were going into the playoffs now that they finally got some goal scoring going. But overall, I just think the Avalanche are going to be too much. It's going to be a fun series. It's going to be a physical series. It's a divisional matchup. These two teams do have a bit of a rivalry between them. It's going to be awesome to watch. I can't wait to watch Game 1 tonight and see how both these teams look. But at the end of the day, I am going to go with the Colorado Avalanche in this one and think that they will win over Dallas in 6 games. So that pretty much does it for the preview of this series. I'll be previewing every series throughout these playoffs. So obviously we've got 3 more to go for the second round, and then obviously 2 and 1 for the subsequent rounds. But with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, our donation link, merchandise store, and Patreon are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.